So that didn't go perfectly. In fact, it didn't go well at all. So it took kind of a day to think about it. I was thinking, God, I really need a way to pump up that cylinder. And I've got plenty of equipment around here that can pump up a cylinder, so it's like, how do I adapt to it? So went down to the hydraulic shop, got a bunch of ugly fittings. They had to order them because they don't carry these, a lot of metric stuff in stock. We've got this metric converter, and then it's NPT, and then to the flat face connector that we needed. I think we're good. I'm gonna look up which line to connect to, and then I'm gonna bring the Bobcat down here and attempt to lift this. So let's give it a shot. Well, this would be a miracle if this works. Seems like I connected to the wrong side of the cylinder, so I switched the lines and tried it again. Alright, that's really exciting! Got it up, now I can finish the last few tasks, pulling the hydraulic tank apart, getting it cleaned. I had to really get this up out of the way so I could do that, so yay! It's up, it's up. Can do the next thing. Try to clean up my mess. Do the next thing.
Next thing's Go Choice.
Yeah, next thing is Go Choice. You may have noticed, but I did not connect the return line when doing this. I did not want to risk any contaminated oil coming back into the Bobcat. So here I'm just refilling the oil I used to extend the cylinder on the Genie. Alright, so I just wanted to share my thoughts on this. Got that seal out. You can see that, man, this looks like, I don't know, it looks like rookie stuff. Came from the factory like this. This is why it rusted up. They bolted that cover on and then they painted it. That really is a bummer. Like, that's just kind of sloppy. It's like they were trying to grind the weld off kind of a little too deep. So I'm going to tape this up for now, come back and clean this up and then repaint it. Yikes. There we go, all painted up. It's pretty good. Well, this is only my second time powder coating, but it's also going to be the largest item I've ever powder coated. It just barely fits in the oven, so I tied it to the tray and just made sure it fit properly. Just barely fits. So hopefully things will go okay between here and the oven, and I won't slam it on the side or something. Just take it really slow. I'm going to wipe it down and then powder coat it.
dispensing system. Notice very little spillage. Very expert. A little zhuzh. Give it a little shake. Oh, there were some clumps there. He'll get less points from the judge for that.
So what we're trying to do is prevent powder coating from being on the inside of the tank. So we use the original gasket to mark the inside of this. Seems like you can do this, but for any reason, should it start to break up or break down, that would get into your hydraulic fluid. So people just say it's better not to coat any interior surfaces that oil could spray on, because it does like to break down a lot of different materials. So Colleen taped up all the surfaces that weren't painted before. So we'll get that nice and powder coated. So because this piece is so big, I want to go ahead and let it just cool down in here. There's too much risk of when I take it out hitting the back or hitting the sides or coming off, so I figure I'll just let it completely cool down. I'll add another hour to this whole process for this to completely cool down and then come back up. At least I won't screw this part up, so let's go with that. Well, I didn't catch it on camera, but unfortunately I dropped this part. It was just too hot in my welding gloves, and it didn't have enough meat on this, and it just fell to the ground. Kind of chewed up a couple of the corners. It might be fine to just live with it, but bums me out to come this far.
So I have some leftover wire from when we dismantled the chain link fence, which I'm going to make into something right now. Once you get it started, then you can use your hands depending on the gauge of the wire. This is quite thick, so it's tough. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep the loops kind of close together, but you can push and pull it. And there you have it. We're going to powder coat that and then fill it with treasure.
Man, I'm really happy with the way this stuff is turning out. You know, that's all taped obviously, but man, it looks good. It's a new brake pedal. That looks like really great coverage. It's that, it's that. We got some more parts in the oven there. So we're gonna try hot flocking. Something I've never tried before. Just read about it on the internet. I'm gonna try to use it to repair this part. See how it goes. Part needs to be at 200 degrees. 210.
Are you noticing adhesion?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
This goes back in the oven. Maybe we saved it. So here's the part. I sanded it and hot flocked it. You know, the finish didn't turn out quite as nice, but I got coverage on all the parts that I damaged because I dropped this part. Yeah, I cleaned those corners up. That's fine. This is just protecting it, but it's better than having those exposed. So I'm pretty happy that I was able to recover that without having to bead blast it again. Said it's not quite the mirror finish that the rest of it is. Kind of has that overspray texture, but that's totally fine. This is actually going to be buried in the tractor, but and in fact, I'm having second thoughts about this. Might want to take this and have this coated in a different way. This will be holding the exhaust brackets, so I'm not sure how hot this will get. I'm hoping that it's not that hot, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. So here's my powder coating from yesterday. Pretty happy with the way all that turned out. So we're good to go for today. These bolts turned out nice. You know, I really should have taped the threads up. You know, I'm kind of new to powder coating. I knew it was going to kind of go on thick. I was hoping it wouldn't be that bad, but I'm just going to use dye and clean up the threads. So same thing here. I'm just going to take a tap and run it down these holes and clear out the threads. If you're curious what my wife was making earlier, here it is. It's a fiber holder. We take the seconds and undesirable fiber from shearing the goats and alpaca and put them in these holders for the animals to take for their own nests. Well, I think that about does it for this week's video. Thanks again for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime and it really helps out the channel. All right, so that didn't go.
Just final looks.
Last looks.
Oh, I went fishing.
Well, this is the second time I'm powder coating, and this is the largest part I'm going.
Heads in the way. Oh,
Damn
is your nozzle not long enough?